Good morning and welcome aboard to the coding train. It is Friday, March, I don't know, I think it's March, although there was like some kind of like thunder snow this week. I keep waiting. When will be the time that I can go back to like a nice spring view, where flowers will be blooming? But this week in New York City, it's still definitively wintertime, so I'm keeping my snowy background. So welcome. Today is another Friday. I am going to be live streaming various points today. This is the morning session. I'll be here for about an hour or so. Then I will be taking a break and I will come back for an afternoon session. Now, what's going to happen today? You might be wondering. So first of all, something that I care deeply. Oh crap. Oh, one of these days I'm going to remember to install that magic lantern. Am I live streaming? I don't see anybody in the chat like saying that I am. It says streaming. Let's check my, this always happens to me. Oh, I am. Okay, good. Okay, just checking. All right, never mind. I'm very professional. This is a professionally run show operation here. All the producers over there all giving me the thumbs up. This is running, the director, stagehands, camera people. I don't have any of those people. It's just me. That's all there is. Okay, so, right, one of my true my life's passion is indentation and spacing. Oh, do I love it when the code just lines up all nicely next to each other. Mwah! So I want to spend a little bit of time this morning. I've learned recently there's something called linting, which is something that I have to do a lot because I got like lint out the wazoo here, and I should have brought my lint brush. That would have been a good prop for some good shtick. To remember that for maybe a part 2 linting tutorial. Maybe you don't even know what linting is. I've known what linting is for a while. But I've never been, because I like to manually myself just adjust every little space and indentation myself manually. But apparently there's some automatic ways of keeping track of style conventions. And this guy, I'm joking around, this can actually be a good thing for an open source project to adopt some conventions and make it easier to contribute and to run some testing to check for style conventions. So. Whoa, hold on, breaking news, breaking news sound, I'm being told by Simon Tiger in the Slack channel, the patron group. I just want to point out that I've realized the trains are in the cats file and the cats are in the trains file. Now I wonder if I've actually completely miscategorized the data from the doodle classifier example. I will definitely have to fix that, but I'll have to come back to that. Pull request I will be accepting, Simon, if that is in fact the case. Okay, so let's get started. So I have a few things I want to discuss. Terminal. Let's go to, iTerm. I really got to investigate this iTerm thing. I have a new repository in a web browser here. This is a new repository I set up, which is that coding train / Flappy Bird clone. So one of the topics which I hope to start today, I'd love it if I finished it, but I would not be surprised if I did not finish this today because this is a bit of a larger project, is to use both my neural network examples and my genetic algorithm examples together to create a bot player, essentially, of a simple game. And Flappy Bird, I think, is a good one to start with, but I hope that will unlock lots of other interesting ideas and possibilities. I would love to mention Jabril's YouTube channel. I believe it's SEFD Science, YouTube. Jabril's has done a wonderful series.
Today, I have a very exciting
a wonderful series about this one. This is 4 out of 4, my first machine learning game, where Jabril's uses neural networks, genetic algorithms in Unity to train this runner to run around a maze. So I want to do something similar to that. I've been very inspired by Jabril's work. I highly recommend his YouTube channel. And actually, we're planning a bit of a collaboration, which I'm excited about. So that's coming soon. So what I did last night is I took the code from coding challenge number 31, which was just to make a simple Flappy Bird clone. And I put it into a separate repository. I opened up some issues and solicited help with these issues, like, oh, that example didn't use ES6 classes, so this is a help wanted. I have a milestone. I kind of want to do so much more about open source project management. So I have this milestone of, oh, I need to fix the pipe spacing bug and do the visual and game design. So what I want to do is spend a little bit of time this morning is going through some of these pull requests and seeing if I can fix those up, merge them, and we'll have a baseline game to start with. Okay. So that's number one. Now, since I'm mentioning this now, while I'm talking, I'm going to go away from this Flappy Bird. I would love it. I don't know if I put some comments here. This pull request by Keegan M added. Oh no! Wait, hold on. Maybe this isn't the right one. How come I'm not seeing the image that was added here? I'm sorry, I'm looking. So I'm going to come back to these pull requests. Sorry, and try to sort that out in a bit. So if anyone wants to, while you're kind of listening in, go to that repository, poke around, mess around, help out, please do. All right. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Now, let's go and make. Let's create a new project. So I'm using this P5 generator node package, which allows me to just generate a P5 sketch really quickly. I'm going to call it. Oh, I wonder if maybe I just actually want to do. No, this is good. I'm going to do it with the P5 sketch. We're going to call this spacing life's passion. Life's passion. My life's passion? My life's passion. My life's passion. Then we're going to go into my life's passion. We're going to open it up in the Atom editor. I'm going to go here. What's going on here? Some packages could not be loaded because they contain native modules that were compiled for an earlier version of Atom. Let's try to rebuild those packages. Okay, now we've got this. I'm going to just add a little bit of code. I'm going to add a background to the draw function. I'm going to go into index.html, and I'm going to get rid of this style stuff. And now I'm going to go back into here, and I'm going to. No. I am so uncomfortable right now. Look at this. Okay. This is good. This is a good start. Whoa, my goodness. All the white space and the indentation is all messed up. Got to deal with that. Okay. This is like, you know. Or something. I don't know. Sound effect, sound effect, sound effect. Okay. Now, I'm ready to do my first tutorial of the day. Let me also run a server, and you know, while I'm here, do I have this installed? Yeah, why not? I'm using Node, but no, I can't bring myself to do it. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, so now, I am ready to do the first tutorial of today, which the topic is linting. And I'm just going to get started with this. I'm just trying to think about if there's anything else I need to pull up. And then afterwards, I'm going to come back and see. So Keegan M., if you are watching this, I would love for you to resubmit your scrolling image, because that was image background and the image for the bird. And then Dagut, who did some excellent, there's some like, oh yeah, excellent changes. Oh, Dagut is here, commented 4 minutes ago. So one thing that is really helpful in open source development in certain contexts, and I should have been more clear and I should write a contributing.md file, is that, oh, the snake game would be good to do too, I agree. I'm easily distracted by the chat, so please. So is that if you're making a bunch of changes to an open source project, so this Flappy Bird game, for example, here's some things you might clone my repository and say like, oh, I'm going to fix and add ES6 classes. I'm going to fix the bug where the pipe spacing is off. I'm going to add a background image. I'm going to add a score. I'm going to do this other. I'm going to fix the aspect ratio of the canvas. If you put all of those things in one pull request, in some context that's wonderful. In the context of this, there were a whole bunch of pull requests all at once, and some people did this feature and this feature. It's hard to manage. Whereas it's easier for me to manage if there are individual pull requests for each individual bug fix and feature. That way I can kind of like try to pick and choose, oh, I want to merge this, but this isn't exactly ready yet, that sort of thing. So I should say there's no way to do this wrong. We're all learning about how to collaborate and participate in open source software development. So the act of just doing a pull request is amazing and wonderful and encouraged. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best way for me to engage with the community in ways to manage a kind of collaborative project like this. Okay, so I'm going to leave this aside and I'm going to return to my life's passion. Let's put something in this. I'm trying to think of what's a nice, maybe I should use the Philo-Taxis code. Let's use that. That's always a nice one. Philo, so let's go to coding train website. Let's go to coding challenges, Philo-Taxis, p5.js, sketch.js. Let me grab this code, put it in here. Yeah, I'll leave that there. Let's just see what's happening here. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Ooh, this is cool. If you haven't watched this coding challenge, that's what this coding challenge does. All right. So now let's. I can't bring myself to do it. I gotta do it. Oh, this is awful. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so awful. Oh, this is the worst thing I've ever done. Hey, is linting a kind of thing that will, part of the configuration could be, hey, you should be using let instead of var? Is that something that'll show? I'm going to use ESLint, spoiler alert. Okay. Okay. This is going to be fun. I can't hit save because I have Atom Beautify set up. All right. Ooh, this has gotten. Oh, but now I went out and fixed the fact that this needs to stop at a certain point. But I guess I could just do that if I need to. Okay. All right. So I think we're ready here. This is going to be the first. No, so this is so I have this dream, which is to have basically a playlist course all about open source software development. And I don't just mean the sort of like nuts and bolts technical stuff, but also the sort of project and community management aspect of it. So this kind of goes with that. So far I've done videos about Git and GitHub, but I definitely need to do some more because I've learned a lot recently. I want to thank Tiny Subversions on Twitter, who was here at ITP for a couple weeks and did some workshops on Git and GitHub and open source software development. I learned a lot from that. So far I have the Git and GitHub tutorials, I have the Circle CI and unit testing tutorials. So this is going to kind of go with that somewhere. Let is blah, okay, blah varn let, blah, 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 blah. So Eric Wu in the chat, yes, please someone explain block scoped. I have a tutorial, which I think is called, if you search on YouTube for something like coding train or shiftmin let var, I have a video that's about let versus var. I don't remember what's in it, so I think I answer your question in that video. It's 10:45, I've got an hour. Okay, we're doing well. Hello, welcome to a video about, this video is actually about my life's passion. And I have a passion in life. Everybody should find the thing that makes them so happy and feel at ease. Now you shouldn't be like me and you should definitely pick a different life's passion. But my life's passion is indentation and spacing. And look at this, So this is my Phyllotaxis coding challenge code, which I went against every instinct that I have in this life and messed up the sort of spacing and indentation. And so what I'm going to emphasize in this video tutorial is something that, and by the way, this is not a video tutorial you're watching from an expert in this topic. This is a video tutorial from someone who just learned about this topic really in the last week, and I'm going to kind of learn about it while attempting to apply it to this piece of code. And the topic is linting. I really wish I had brought my lint brush so I could have some kind of linting shtick, but oh well. You'll have to live without that. Now, what is linting? So one of the things that makes me really happy is when a code editor has something like auto format or beautify, and I'm using in here the Atom text editor. You have lots of people use different text editors and code editors and online editors and console-based editors, and I have it configured in such a way that if I hit Command S, which is for save, or if I go up here under packages, Atom Beautify, I have this Atom Beautify package, which will automatically apply a bunch of styling conventions to the code. So this horrible, uncomfortable thing, like look at this, will be fixed. And everything will be right with the world if I hit Command S. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, it's much better now, much better now. So here's the thing. I'm being silly and joking around here. There's no reason why I couldn't have a program automatically look through the code and analyze it to determine if there are little things like a missing semicolon, or maybe there should be a space here between this. Now, again, I'm looking for things that don't stop the code from running, but that don't adopt a certain style convention for readability of the code and also for maintenance of the code. So I tend to optimize for legibility and maintenance over like clever making my code like as concise and short and cryptic as possible. Obfuscated, I think. That's one of my favorite words, which I apparently can't really pronounce. Obfuscation. Okay, so and this can make an open source project more accessible, actually, to contribute to, because you kind of feel more confident as a contributor to say, like, oh, I can run this little module that tests the code I want to submit to see if it adopts the style conventions. And so this is kind of related to unit testing and continuous integration that I have a whole other, it will pop up somewhere, video tutorial series about. Okay, so let's get started here. We know I have Atom Beautify. That will but it's not telling me about the semicolon here. So I need to figure out how to do linting. So the package that I'm going to use to lint, ooh, look at this phyllotaxis pattern. Let me just refresh. Let me actually adjust this to stop after a certain point, because this is going to start running really slow. So let's see, n plus equals 5. Start, like, what's n at now? 1,000. So let's just say, I'm just going to add something. If n is greater than 1,000, no loop. So that will stop, this phyllotaxis pattern will blossom and bloom until 1,000, until that variable n reaches 1,000, and then it will stop. Okay. But what the code is doing is less important in this video. So coming back here, let's look for something called ESLint, Pluggable JavaScript Linter. ESLint is an open source project originally created by Nicholas Zakas in June 2013. Its goal is to provide a pluggable linting utility for JavaScript. So I encourage you to read through all of the documentation about this. There's a developer guide, there's this whole documentation of rules, it's a bunch of default rules. So the rules are the style conventions that you're applying to the code. There's a command line interface, all sorts of stuff. What I want to look for here, I think, is the getting started. I want to just click on this getting started. And there's this, apparently this YouTube tutorial that you should probably just stop watching this video and go watch this right now, because I'm sure it's better than whatever I'm going to do. But I'm going to engage with ESLint via Node. So while this project I'm making, this phyllotaxis pattern, is a client-side JavaScript sketch that doesn't involve a server or anything, I can use Node, the server-side programming JavaScript framework, to kind of act as my project manager. And I can import certain packages and things that I can run, such as unit testing or linting. So this is what I want to run. The problem is I don't think I want to install ESLint this moment right now, because I haven't even set this up to be a Node project. And the reason why I know it's not set up to be a Node project is that it would have a package.json file, which is like a configuration file for this, so that Node knows how to kind of manage this project. So I'm going to go here. Oops. So I am now in terminal. So if you're not familiar with the command line, I probably have some video tutorial that goes over that. I'm going to just check, yes, I am in my folder, my life's passion. I'm going to say npm init. This is a command that I can run that will create the package.json file, the configuration file for this project. I could make it manually or copy paste it from somewhere else, but let's run this. This utility will walk you through, blah, 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 blah. My package name, and let's see, this can be over here. My package name is definitely My Life's Passion. It is version 1.0, whatever, demonstrating linting for the coding train. Oh my goodness. By the way, I seriously need like a linter for my email, so I stopped putting 2 spaces after the period, because I have a bad habit of that. Entry point, sure, sketch.js. Test command, I'm not going to run test right now, so I'm going to leave that out. Git repository, I'm going to leave that out right now. I can add that in later. Keywords, linting, tutorial, education, JavaScript. Let's do that. Author is the coding train. And the license will be MIT. And I'm going to say, MIT, by the way, is a software license that's very permissive, and I try to adopt it for all of my projects when I can. There's sometimes other considerations, but that pretty much lets people use it for anything without having to give credit, they can use it commercially, etc. Okay, is this okay? Yes. But for example, I use a Creative Commons non-commercial license for like my Nature of Code open source book, because I wouldn't want someone to take the Nature of Code book and resell it. But with something like this phyllotaxis pattern linting tutorial, use at will. Okay, is this okay? Yes. Yes. Okay, so now I'm just going to type clear to get back to the top, and I'm going to look, and we can see now, aha, package.json. So I have this package.json, which is the configuration file for my project, and now, oh boy, I'm going to add linting to it. This video is probably, what has this been, like 45 minutes of me just like talking, anticipating adding the linting? All right, so you're wonderful to watch this. npm install ESLint --save diff. So you might be wondering, so first of all, npm node package manager. I want to install a package to go with this project. ESLint is the package. Now what's this --save dev? Now if you've watched some of my other node tutorials, you might have noticed that I say --save, because often the code for my project itself depends on a node package. This is not the case. Right now, the code for my Phylotexis project does not depend on ESLint. ESLint is a developer dependency, meaning I want to use this package while I am developing the project. But when I release the project, it doesn't need ESLint to go with it. It's just the little animation that's going to be in the browser. So this is saying I want a dependency for this project, but I want it to be a development dependency. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy paste this. I'm going to go back to terminal. I'm going to paste it in, and well, that was fast. Okay, so now it added everything, and I have ESLint. Now, I have a feeling we're missing some other packages, and we're going to kind of arrive at all of that as we go. But we can now say here, we can now see that, first of all, this has been added to package.json under dev dependencies, ESLint version 4.18.2 or higher. So that's there. And in theory now I should say that some people choose to install ESLint globally on the computer. So now what I've done is I've installed ESLint for this particular project only. It might make sense for me as a person who might want to use it for everything that I'm always doing on my computer to install it globally. But for now, let's leave it as a local module so that anybody using this project can have it there sort of as a standalone thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I can run ESLint by referencing the ESLint execution file in node modules in .bin, and your file, I could run ESLint on sketch.js. So let's actually just do that. Oh my God, are we going to do that right now? Yes, we are. Okay, so I'm going to run this, but instead of your file.js, I'm going to write sketch.js. Oops, something went wrong. So here's the thing. ESLint isn't just magic. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to, I as ESLint know exactly how you should style your code. You have to set up a configuration file. So that configuration file has a name, and it is called, it is a file that you create called ESLint.rc in the directory of the project. And so I could create that manually, and I could start to add some of the rules, like, hey, I always want a semicolon, or I always want to use double quotes. Me, I like single quotes, whatever. I like to mix them up. Anyway, I don't know what I like. So, but I can also now run, let's try this. I can run ESLint init, and I think it will give me, it will step me through a series of questions. It will ask me all about my preferences, my passions, my hopes and dreams and fears, and it will create a nice configuration file of how I should style the code. I can't believe this is the longest video anyone's ever made on linting. It's insane. Okay. Oops, oh right, but I have to instead, because it's not a global module, I have to say this. A dash init, this should work. Okay, oh, it's so nice of you. Oh, I'm so excited to have this conversation. How would you like to configure ESLint? Use arrow keys. Use a popular JavaScript style guide? That sounds reasonable. Inspect your JavaScript files. I'm not sure. I don't know, actually. Let's inspect our JavaScript files. So one thing you should know is that there are popular JavaScript styles, and a lot of them have been created by companies. For example, there's an Airbnb style, there's a Google style, and these you can adopt. Maybe we'll find out about some of these, but I don't know, I've actually never tried this inspect your JavaScript files, so let's try that. Which file should be examined? Sketch.js. Which format do you want the config file to be in? Let's stick with JavaScript. Am I using ECMA script 6 features? Yes. Am I using ES6 modules? No, but I should be. Someday I got to do a tutorial about that. Where will my code run? Okay, this is browser code only. It is not Node. Do you use common.js? No. Do you use JSX? No. Okay, great. So it enabled a whole bunch of rules for me. Look at this. Oh, let's look. Now that file is there, and we can examine it. Oh, look at this. Array bracket new line, array bracket spacing. Oh, it just like it looked at my code and created a configuration style modeled after how I currently have it. Now, some other things I might do is I might go back and try to adopt one of these common JavaScript styles. I might look at a project like P5.js. If I go to P5.js on GitHub, github.com/processing/P5.js, I'm guessing I'm going to find, look at that. This open source project has an ESLint RC file. So I could say, like, you know what? I want to adopt the same rules that P5 adopts. And so I could look through here. Now, however, I should be able to run the linting now. Here we go. I can't believe I'm still doing this. All right, so let's run linting. Now, here's the thing. This is so kind of awkward that I have to do this all the time. I'm going to do it right now, but I'm going to show you another way to run the ESLint that... Wow, there's been no editing required in this. Hold on, my shoe is untied. All right. So I'm going to run ESLint now again. Whoa! Okay, so this is really interesting. I got a lot of errors. Points is assigned a value but never used. Setup is defined but never used. Create canvas is not defined. Angle mode is not defined. Degrees is not defined. So wait a second, this is nuts. I mean, yes, you're right. If I look at my code, there is background, translate, rotate, and it's saying those things are not defined, but they are. They're defined. They're part of P5.js. So one thing that I probably want to do here is tell ESLint that I'm using the library P5.js, and if something in my code is not defined, but it's defined in P5.js, you don't have to give me a warning or error about that. So let's look at how we do that. In fact, one way of doing this is using another node package, P5 config ESLint. So if I go now to here, you'll see that there is this other node package called ESLint config P5.js, which allows me to put in my ESLint.rc file that that I extend. I am also should look at all the stuff that's part of P5.js. So let's now install this dev dependency to the project. These are way too fast. Okay, that was installed. And then what I want to do is look at my ESLint.rc file. Is there already an extends in here? Yes. Extends ESLint recommended. So let's see what else I want to extend. Extends P5.js. Now, so if I want to extend a bunch of things, looks like I can create an array. This doesn't look right. Right? There should be commas here. I think this is probably incorrect. We should submit a pull request to this project just to fix its documentation, because I have a feeling what I need to do is turn this into an array. And then, so I'm going to now add also P5.js. And let's just add, I'm not using it, but let's add P5.js DOM. So you can see this should be how I can add other kind of lint configurations that I'm going to, ESLint configurations that I'm going to import into my project. So let's see now, I should be able to say, I'm going to run linting again. I'll leave this here. Okay, great. So now you can see that got rid of all that. Now here's the thing. Points is assigned a value but never used. Line 9, let's look at line 9. What is that? So I go back to my code, line 9. Oh, look at that. That's actually a totally legitimate thing that it found. I'm not using that array anywhere, so that's good to know. I'm going to take this out, and now I'm going to run it again. And I fixed that. Now, okay, great. So here's the thing. I probably, maybe I'll look into this in a part 2 or something. There's probably a nice way that I can create my own custom rule so that setup and draw are allowed. It does think that I'm, and maybe that should be something that's actually added to P5, the P5.js configuration. But in this case, it is kind of accurate that I've defined this function setup and it's never called, but P5, the library itself, is calling it. Setup does actually, is that in a way I almost want to say, it almost should give me an error like, hey, where's your setup function? Let's do some other stuff. Let's put in some weird spacing and see what it gives me. Let's forget some semicolons. I'm not going to, I have to do something. So one thing that I have is that as soon as I hit Command S, it's going to reformat the code. So I need to turn off my Atom Beautify package. So I'm going to go to Preferences. Wait, hold on. I'm going to go to Atom Preferences, and I'm going to go to Packages. I'm going to go to Beautify. So again, this is really Atom, the text editor specific, which is a little less relevant to this video because you might be using a different text editor, but I'm going to go to Settings of Atom Beautify, and I'm going to go down to JavaScript. And there's, by the way, I'm going to uncheck this Beautify on Save, which is what I'm doing right here. By the way, I can actually link the text editor with ESLint. So maybe I'll do that in a separate video, just look at that. But again, that's Atom editor specific. So I unchecked that preference. So now I should be able to hit, I should be able to hit Save, right? And all of the mistakes or style mistakes are, so one thing, just to see, like, I'm not broken the code. The code still runs. I have not broken the code. I've only broken my style conventions. And so now I'm going to run it again. And look at this. Oh, look at this. Hold on, let's see if I can. It's really bothering me that this formatting, oh no, this is fine now. Okay, I just want to be able to see this a bit better. Let me make this a bit bigger. So look, a space is required after the comma. Yes, yes it is. There should be spaces inside this parentheses, multiple spaces found before degrees. So this is wonderful. And look at this. It's saying potentially fixable with the dash fix option. So in theory, I should be able to now run this again with dash fix, and it will actually fix some of those style errors. So look at that. It didn't find any errors anymore. And if I go back to the code, okay, I'm upset. Let's run this again. Yeah, so interestingly enough, this is deeply, deeply upsetting to me that there aren't two spaces here. If I run my package Atom Beautify, I will get those spaces back. So that's something that I have to investigate, and probably what I need to do is go look at the ESLint documentation. In the ESLint documentation, go under rules and look for a rule that I can add to make sure that is fixed. Now here's the thing, most likely if I adopt one of these more popular JavaScript style guides, it's going to have more stuff in it that I might want, and maybe I'll come back and try some of those in a separate video. But I do want to mention one thing here. This was kind of no fun what I did, in the sense that nothing about this is fun. That I have to do this because I have ESLint as a local module. And so one thing I can add to my package.json file, and it's here under scripts. So you can see, one of the things you might have, if you watch my videos about unit testing, I could say things like npm run test. And what that will do is it will run whatever commands I have that are mapped to test in scripts. So I'm going to add one here called lint. And I'm going to say, I'm going to go and grab this. And then I'm also going to say star.js. So this would, in theory, lint any JavaScript files that are in the project, in the main directory. And I think it might not, and hopefully it won't look for the at the library files, which is something I definitely want to ignore. But if I do this and save this, now I can simply say npm run lint, and there we go. Now, that didn't work. Why did that not work? Lint ESLint star.js. Oh no, it worked. It just like gave me some like weird error. Hold on. I'm getting a message. It's not from the patron group. Time out for a second. Let me look at the log. Anybody know what I'm doing wrong? Why do I have this? No run. No, I don't think so. Because run is saying run this script. So this just needs to be lint. Let me just look at this. npm, oh, I just say npm lint? Why do I imagine I need to say run? No, I have to say run. Okay. Look at this again. I wonder if it didn't like my star.js. Drink water. It is supposed to be like that. ESLint returns error. Oh, so npm errored. Oh. Thank you, Kenneth in the chat. Thank you. Ah, okay. So is there, it's because the exit code is, oh, okay. Okay. Got it. So this is actually correct. Is there something I want, like, should I be configuring things in a slightly different way? Or this is actually, I want to see this. Because if I was doing this with like some kind of like testing, so I actually want to see this if there are errors. Okay. By the way, this is, I've literally never, I've used linting in other people's projects. I've never used it in my own project. Oh God, it's 11:15 already. Do lint JS hint or true. Interesting. You want to see this. ESLint is exiting with one if there's, okay. Okay, I'm back. Thankfully, I make these videos with a live chat of people who know more than I do about this. And actually, I want to see this. Because what happened is ESLint exited with an error code because there were errors. And if I'm going to run this automatically through some other process, like its exit status is 1 because there was an error, and that other process needs to get that report. So if I integrate this with some kind of other unit testing system or continuous integration framework, I'm like, what are these things? Check my other videos or ask in the comments. This is something that I actually want to see. So unfortunately, without setting up a rule, but I can just see, I can just for a moment, just as a kind of like hack for a second, is I'm going to just comment out my setup and draw functions. And I am going to run this again, and we'll see, oh boy. Comments should, oh, look at the crazy, oh, look at this. And that was a terrible idea. These variables are assigned but never used. And comments should not begin with a lowercase character. And you know what? ESLint, it knows me better than I know myself. Because I agree. I do not want my comments to begin with a lowercase letter, although I do want an exception to that if I'm commenting out a bit of code. Although I guess ultimately in a sort of more formal open source project, maybe I don't want to submit a pull request or something with commented out code. But again, it's kind of okay for me while I'm experimenting to have commented code. I'm certainly not going to like do this because that would ruin everything. So I have to think about that. I might want to disable that rule. But you get the idea. I'll delete it. Let's just delete everything. Hold on. I'm going to do Command X, and I'm going to say console.log. Oh, yeah. What kind of quote should I use? Single quote. I'm so stressed out right now. This code is so perfect. Semicolon. Okay, now. How do I do that automatic clear again? Oh no, I'll just type clear because that's how I do it. Okay, npm run lint. Here we go. Oh, unexpected console statement. No, I should not have console statements. Strings must use double quotes. Okay, I reject. ESLint, I reject your configuration. Let's go see this video. By the way, it's like, I can't believe people are gonna be like, oh, what's new from the coding train today? Oh, a video about linting. Wait, why is it 2.5 hours long? Because a crazy person made it. Let's look for quotes in here. So, oh, I don't, quotes. All right, double, wait, where, there should be somewhere in here. Oh, maybe because it's getting the, I gotta end this video and learn about how this stuff works. Single, double. So I wonder if it's getting it from ESLint recommended. Like, I wonder if some of these rules are coming from ESLint recommended. Command K, thank you. And so let's get rid of that just for a second. Strings must use double quotes. No. All right, but fine. I'll fix it. Oh, it couldn't fix it. Command K, right? Yep, there we go. It couldn't fix it, so I will fix it myself. We're gonna make this thing lint itself. By golly. Let's get rid of the fix. Oh, that's so yay! Let's do that again. Let's do it again. Let's make it much bigger. So you can see, by the way, this stuff can be problematic, and you really have to be thoughtful and careful about what makes sense for your project and your workflow. And if you are making a creative art project and you spend all day configuring your linting file and you don't express yourself through your code, maybe that's a problem. But at a certain point after you've worked on a project and have a kind of a first version, you might go back, edit, clean up the code, add some style conventions if you're open sourcing it so other people can participate in it. Time out for a second. So I just want to see if I've missed anything. Anything super. You have to put the quotes rule in an array with error and single. Okay. How to configure Atom in order for it to live linting. Yes, there's a plugin that you can do that. Have you tried VS Code? All right, so I think I'm going to end this. I'm going to wrap this up. Have I done anything that once I release this as a standalone tutorial that people will be very unhappy with? Because I could come back. I think I should do a part 2. I think I'll release this, let it linger, and I'll do a part 2 based on what people get, tips and things people give me in the comments. Okay. All right, so that wraps up this video about linting. Thank you for watching. It's probably the next day now. It's probably nighttime if you started this video and it was daytime. It's been so long. I will be doing a part 2. And I'm sure I've made a lot of mistakes and missed some things, and I want to really sort of think about what kind of configuration rules I want to set up for my workflow and maybe experiment with integrating with Atom or trying other text editors. So leave your notes and feedback in the comments. I'm going to wait at least a week before I do the part 2 so I can compile a lot of feedback and comments and then come back and do a part 2 and hopefully integrate this also with unit testing. Okay, thanks for watching. All right. Do you have to? Oh, I love the cranberries. I'm so sad. Sad for the cranberries. That was the music of my high school days, by the way. You can figure out how old I am based on that. and their bombs, and their... I can't do it. Zombie. Okay, so what time is it? It's 11:20. I think at this point, yeah, the Junks has got it right. At this point, I need to move on to the neuroevolution stuff that I want to do. And so let's check in. And that's mostly going to happen this afternoon. So let me just talk about the schedule, if you're watching. I am here right now for another half an hour or so. I'm going to be attending a wonderful presentation by the amazing Kate Compton, who is giving a presentation here at ITP, and doing some other stuff and some office hours and helping students and things like that. And then I will be back, I hope, at 3 p.m. Eastern, which will be about 3 hours. It'll be about a 3-hour break after I stop. And then I will be live streaming again only for about an hour and a half because I have a very, very special guest who is coming this evening. A huge inspiration for me, someone who is really, anyway, I'm just really excited about it. If you want to know more, this is a reason to become a patron of the coding trade, because I discuss in our Slack community about guest tutorials and even sometimes do closed live streams of the recording sessions with the guests. But this won't be live streamed, but it will be published and released next week. So stay tuned about that. So that's coming. So I want to work on the neuroevolution stuff. I don't think an hour and a half this afternoon is realistic for me to finish it, but let's at least check in. And let's try to get the Flappy Bird game in shape for that tutorial. Where am I? Let's go to desktop. Oh, I didn't even clone it. Okay. So let's come back to Flappy Bird clone. I haven't been looking at my email or notifications or anything, so I don't know what's going on here. There's more pull requests. Let's quickly clone this. So I'm cloning the repo, which means I'm grabbing it from GitHub and downloading it to my computer, but it is linked. Because if I say Git Remote -v, oops, I have to be in the directory. And if I say Git Remote -v, you're going to see that this remote, the URL on GitHub, is linked to the keyword origin. Love to come back and talk about all this stuff more. Let's run a server and take a look at what it looks like right now and try to merge some of these pull requests. So this is currently what it looks like. You can see, so the things that I want to add are this pipe spacing thing is totally broken, and I want it to visually look nicer. So let's take a look at some of these pull requests and see what's come in since. Okay, so it looks like, let's just go in reverse order. Fix pipe.js to use correct height and start coordinates. I think this one, let's just try resolving this ourselves. This is what you can see here that's happening is, what happened is this particular pull request was submitted after another pull request that I merged converted this old constructor function syntax to ES6 classes. So this is what is in the ES6 classes branch up here, and this is what's in master. And I want to pick which one I want. And I want this, because I want hits bird. But I want the fix, which is maybe this. Boy, I can't. I'm looking at the code over here. On my monitor, and what do I want here? What's the mistake? What's correct? The fix, let's hold on a sec. I think that I can, go here, and what I'm going to do is look here under file change. So, the height minus this dot bottom was incorrect in the hits function, but in the draw function, it should have height minus this bottom here and not here. Okay, so let's try that. So now that I see that, this should help me figure out how to resolve these conflicts. So what I want is this here to go here, I think. And that fixes the hits function. And this got fixed anyway, didn't have a problem figuring that out. And I've lost somehow this. So I think that I fixed the, I think that I fixed this. Merge and we'll see. So I'm now going to mark as resolved, commit this, and I don't have any unit testing or any linting, which I should add. And then I'm going to say I resolved the conflicts. I resolved the conflicts manually, and I'll just reference the commit. And on GitHub, actually, even though this is the URL for that commit, oh, I just deleted part of master's code. So I did it wrong. I got a notification. It was a little bit too late. I'll fix it. I just wanted at least the correct. I'll have to go back and fix it. It's fine. Let's keep going with what I'm doing here. And then I'll go back and fix it. But unfortunately it was correct. So one thing I can do now is I can go here and, really? I think this is right, isn't it? This is what it looks, I'm checking the diff now. Isn't this what I wanted it to be? The lines 15 and 16 aren't correct. So let's go, oh, okay, really? Let's go edit. We can add another commit to this branch. What's incorrect here? This should be height minus this dot bottom? This is me, like, this is like the laziest live streaming ever, being like, I could figure this out, or I could just wait for the chat to tell me, because I really trust. This dot highlight is no longer set in the constructor. Ah, I deleted that. Thank you. That's what was wrong. Okay. So it should be false. Thank you for that. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go down and say correct mistake made when resolving conflict. And this commit adds back in this dot. Actually, you know what? I think you, by the way, in the commit messages, the markup of doing things like this doesn't apply, doesn't render, as far as I know. This adds back in this dot highlight equals false, which I deleted by accident. Apologies to who's the original pull requester here? RHBV and oops, no, stay. Apologies to RHBVK leaf. Okay, so I'm going to commit directly to this branch so that it's included as I merge the pull request. And that should be good now. Now the diff looks right. I just got rid of that space. That's still there. And now I am going to go back to conversation, and I'm going to say oops, and I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to merge the pull request. And now we will, let's grab those changes. So those have come in here, and let's take a look at it running again. So that looks better. Why is it running so slow? It feels like it's running really slow in this computer. OK. All right, so that pull request is resolved. All right, so now let's look and see what else we got here. Great. Work in progress, convert the project to Yarn, NPM, and add linting testing. That's wonderful. I appreciate that. Let me just write a little note here. Thank you for this. I'm going to hold off on adding this later as it is not presently the focus of the tutorial. And then I'm going to reference. Sorry that you guys probably can't see a lot of the stuff I'm typing. I'm going to reference 1, 2, 3, referencing number 3. So I just want to I want to link this to issue number 3. Oops, sorry, the camera went off. I want to link that to issue number 3 so that if anybody else comes who wants to submit a pull request for this idea, they'll see that. So I'm going to say comment that. OK, great. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to check out that's train and background. Oh, great. All right. Now let's see what's going on here. This is great. Yes, there's the background. This is the background that I want to include. This uses the train image, which is great. One thing that I might suggest here, I think I'll fix this myself, is we could just use image mode center. That would be, so what I would normally do if I wasn't pressed for time is I might say, I might add a review and request. I can say to use image mode center, but I think I might just correct some of these, change that myself. So this looks great. So I've got, so one thing that I might want to do is just check, that, run this pull request now to make sure it looks OK. So what I'm going to do is to do that, I'm going to say Git Remote, and I really should make this into a tutorial. You know what? We're going to make this a tutorial about Git Remote. All right. OK. All right. Here we go. We're gonna add a little tutorial. This will go in the Git and GitHub playlist. Yes. The image is used elsewhere, which would need to do the same calculation there. OK, so I might leave it. You can just do git pull origin refs pull 15 head. Oh, that is very confusing to me. I don't even know. So what I'm going to do you think it's a bad idea for me to demonstrate how to add a different remote and then look at that branch? I think I would like to do it my longer-winded way, just as for the sort of educational aspect. But I'd be willing to told that maybe I'm sending people in the wrong direction. I don't have a lot of time here. All right. Is anybody moderating the chat, by the way? Seem to be some discussions that might need some moderation. I could just do this myself. I guess I won't. I don't want to moderate the chat while unless it's really. All right. Don't have anything discussing separate remotes. I don't think that I do. Shiftmin, YouTube, remote, GitHub. Branches, cloning, No, I don't think I have a tutorial discussing remotes. So let's do that. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Okay. All right. I got to stop looking at the chat. Well, let me move this over here. Okay. Hello. This is another video, which is a tutorial about working with Git and GitHub. And in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about remotes. Woohoo! Yes. So I'm in the middle of live streaming, and I'm working on this project that has to do with this Flappy Bird clone. And I'm going to train a bot using a genetic algorithm and a neural network to play Flappy Bird. And I have a wonderful pull request from GitHub user Keegan M, who has added this particular image to be the Flappy Bird and this particular background to be the background of the Flappy Bird game. And I really want to accept this pull request, but what I want to do, and I can examine it through the GitHub interface. I can see, this was deleted and this was added because now it's going to have an image, and there's an icon variable which loads the image. Those are some things, those are some wonderful things like that that I want to accept. But I don't have any unit testing, and this isn't like hosted anywhere, so I want to actually look at it locally on my computer to run the code and sort of see before I merge it. And so there's a variety of ways that this can be done more efficiently than what I'm going to show you right now, but this is a good excuse to talk about remotes. So what is a remote? So right now, my terminal window, which I want to make a little bit bigger, is in the directory of this project. I'm on the desktop, Flappy Bird clone. If I say git remote, the remote is a command -v for verbose, like I want to know as much as possible. I want you to be very verbose about the remote. It's going to say, oh look, you have a remote that is named origin that is tied to this URL, and that makes sense. That's my GitHub URL, codingtrain/Flappy Bird clone. That's the GitHub repository. And this remote was automatically created because at some point in time I said git clone, and I put this in. So when I did this default remote was created. So the remote being another location where this Git repository exists. Now the word origin is kind of a default convention for the original remote, the sort of canonical remote, being GitHub in this case, but it's just a made up thing. Like I could say git remote, and I do this actually with a lot of projects, I could say git remote delete, I think, origin. Nope. Git remote remove origin. Yes, and now if I say git remote -v, there's no more remotes. But I could say git remote add, and instead of calling it origin, why not call it GitHub or unicorn? I could call it anything I want. Let's call it GitHub. And then I can paste in Flappy Bird clone. I'm just going to grab this URL here, and I can paste this in here. And now I am adding this remote. And I can say git remote -v again, and we can see there it is back, but it's now called GitHub. So if I were ever to say git pull origin master to grab some changes, master, by the way, is this name of the core branch. Is also just a completely made up thing. I could have source branch or release branch or development branch or experimental branch. That's a separate video about branches that you can go and watch. But if I say this, it'll say, origin doesn't appear to be a Git repository because it's not there. But I can now say git pull GitHub master. And there we go. Now I'm already up to date, so I don't have to worry about it. Now here's the thing. Let's go back to this pull request, which is once again from Keegan M. So where is Keegan M's, and we can see here, Keegan M : graphics. So Keegan M made these code changes in a branch called graphics in their GitHub repository. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this right here. There's probably a way I could link to it. And I'm going to go up to the URL, and I'm going to change coding train to Keegan M. And I'm going to get rid of the pull request. So I just want to go over there and see that this is the fork of the repository. And so there we can see this is Keegan M's fork. We can see branch master. We can see branch graphics. I could start looking around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to clone, and I'm going to grab this. So I'm now going to grab Keegan M's a fork of my Flappy Bird clone. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to say Git Remote add Keegan. I can make up anything here. I'm just going to say Keegan because I think I can remember that. And I'm going to then paste in that particular URL for Keegan M. Now, one thing you might notice, these URLs say git@github.com. You might actually, and this is because I have set up this very fancy way for my computer to be auto-logged in using an SSH key and a passphrase. But if you don't have that set up, and I should do a video tutorial that explains how to do that, you might want to use HTTPS. This is also a way that you can, this is just the sort of standard URL without having the sort of secret keys that log you in automatically. But that's a little bit of an aside here. I'm going to add this remote. And now I'm going to say git remote -v, and we can see, look at this. I have GitHub remote, which is tied to me, coding train. I have Keegan's remote, which is tied to Keegan M, which is tied to the GitHub repository Keegan M. Now, I'm going to say, there's a lot of different things that I can do, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say git branch graphics. I'm going to make a branch locally called graphics, and I'm going to quickly go into that branch. Again, you should probably watch my branches tutorial about how this works, and I'm going to go into that branch by using checkout. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say git pull, and usually I almost reflexively just git pull origin master, git pull origin master, git pull origin master, git pull origin master, git pull origin master. But I don't want to pull from origin. I want to pull from Keegan. And I don't want to pull from master, I want to pull from graphics. Git pull Keegan graphics. Ooh, interesting. So something has happened here in that I am now been launched into a text editor known as VI. Whoa, this has been like way off the screen. That's what's going on here. That's crazy. And so there's some sort of merging that needs to happen for Keegan M's branch graphics to come into my branch graphics because I actually have made some other changes. It would have been nice if this didn't happen, but this is actually quite normal. This is a regular thing, and I have to deal with this. So what I want to do is say that I'm going to say, what do I type in VI? So this always happens. So I think I'd say colon insert. No, I for insert. I for insert. So again, you can link a different text editor to your Git work on your computer, but this is, and so now I've been launched this text editor in Command, and I just want to say, like, I'm making a tutorial video, so I don't have a lot of time, but this is here to merge Keegan's graphics with some recent changes I made. And then I'm going to say colon, oops, oh no, I got to get rid of insert, escape maybe, escape, colon, QW, which I think will then quit and write this out. I don't really know how to use VI, Vim or whatever, I don't know what to call it, colon QW, and I'm going to just do that. No, not an editor command. Colon WQ, write and then quit. There we go. And now it's fine. It didn't commit it. That's fine. So now this is good. I just really wanted to look at it. All I want to do is look at it. I don't need to commit this right now because I'm not really worrying about merging. And so now I should, if I come over here, this is me like looking at my code in the browser before I checked out and pulled from that other remote. And there we go. Look at this. And now we have the coding train, the Flappy coding train game with our little unicorn train and the scrolling background. Okay, wonderful. So this is good. So now I'm like, oh, this looks great. I'm done. So interestingly enough, if I wanted to, I could actually merge everything right now from the command line. Typically what I would do is I'm done. I would just go back to here and I would say, I go back to pull request. Oops, no, I go back to coding train. Go back to pull request, go back to train and background version 3, and I would say, all right, Mathieu, unfortunately the trolls are out in full form today, and we are going to have to edit this video. First, I am going to report. I don't feel a reason. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit friendly today, and I'm not going to report this, but I will if it happens again. I'm just going to delete the comment. This one I'm kind of okay with because it's sort of friendly and funny, but I think just for the purpose of the video, I think I will remove it. Definitely won't report it because, you know. And then I'm also going to, I think I might just lock the comments for right now for a second. I'm just going to lock the conversation. I'm just going to say spam for a second. I'm going to lock the conversation. This should allow me to still merge it. OK, so nobody can add any comments right now while I'm here. OK. So let's go back. So normally I would just go to the pull request and I would scroll down here and I would just click on merge. And this would merge that pull request. And in fact, I'd write a comment. Thank you so much. I am going to merge this. And what's wonderful about using GitHub as a service, which is very different than the Git software itself, the version control software, is that it provides a visual interface to a lot of the common things that you might want to do, like merging and looking at the differences between two files and that sort of thing. But I think while I'm here, if you can tolerate continuing to watch this video, however, I am going to demonstrate merging from the command line for fun. So stay tuned. I'm going to add that comment. It's interesting. OK, I'm going to add that comment. Sorry, actually, you're going to have to edit this also. I was about to mention, like, oh, it lets me add a comment even though I locked it. But I don't need to say that in the edited version of this video. OK, you guys are really throwing me off. All right. So I added that comment, and now I'm going to return to the command line. Now, I should say that something about the way I really need to make a video about setting up terminal, or whatever you use as your terminal application, to work with Git more effectively, because there's no reason why I couldn't see things being syntax highlighted or showing me what branch I'm currently on. And there's also like other terminal software like iTerm that I could use. So I've got to come back for that. But right now I'm just going to say I don't even remember where I am. So I'm going to say git status, and I'm going to say, OK, all conflicts fixed, but you are still merging. So because I didn't actually ultimately commit that merge that I did, so I'm going to say git commit. Now here's the thing. I have learned recently that that using -m is not as thoughtful or so I'm going to do a video about how to not use -m and write more thoughtful, longer commit messages. But for lack of the time right now, I'm just going to say commit -m, and I'm going to say merging changes from, and I'm going to want to remember Keegan M. From Keegan M. OK, I'm going to do that. So now I'm going to say git status again. OK, on branch graphics. So now I'm going to go to master. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say git merge graphics. And what that will do is we'll take the graphics branch and merge it into master. It's exactly the same thing that would happen if I pressed this button here, which would merge Keegan M graphics into master. I'm just going to do that from the command line. Git merge graphics. OK. Here we go. I'm getting some good feedback in the chat of other things to mention. Yay! OK, it's merged. And now I can say git status. I'm going to say git status again. I type git status all the time. I'm on branch master, nothing to commit, working directory clean. Let's say git fetch, which is just going to kind of like go to my origin remote and see. Oh, no remote repository specified. Oh, OK, hold on. That doesn't need to be in this tutorial. I don't need to talk about git fetch because I messed it up with git origin. So let me just go back. Record scratch, back up. All right, so now let me put these changes back, right? They're here on master, but they are not here, if I go here, we'll see like what's the latest commit. It's still something else that I was working on. So I'm going to now say git push. I'm not going to say origin. I'm not going to say origin. I'm not going to say origin because I renamed it to GitHub master. And if I do that, now I have sent that up. I'm going to hit a refresh here, and I'm going to see, look, all of those changes from Keegan M are now here. We can see they're here, background version 3. This was me merging. This was me correcting the mistake. This was some other stuff, some other stuff. We can see all of that is here. Now the real question is, if I go into pull requests, look at this. Where is that pull request? It's not there anymore. GitHub was smart enough to realize that I merged this. I merged this via the command line. So the merge button is gone and it is now enclosed. Wonderful. So hopefully you learned something a little bit about Git remotes and about merging in this video tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will come back and make many more of these working with Git and GitHub open source tutorial thingies. Thank you. Locking comments still lets collaborators comment, which is fine with me. You could also do git reset -- hard Keegan/graphics to change to be on their branch without code from your master. Okay, that's a good point. All right. Cybernetic in the chat writes, Git looks so scary, I would be afraid I'd accidentally merge the completely wrong file. Yeah, you know what the thing is? It is a little scary. The one thing that's kind of nice about Git, it's very hard to really delete and break everything. Rebase is a command that sometimes you can run into, scary things with. But if you're just adding and committing and pushing and pulling, you can get yourself into a hairy situation where it's like, I need help and I need to go to Stack Overflow, or I need to ask a friend to get me out of this. But it's very, very hard for you to, by accident, actually lose something. So I would say go for it, and don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to just try. And if you're really worried, just always copy a folder into another folder on your computer, so you have a kind of backup of your code. But just go for it, and don't. Hopefully maintainers of open source projects are going to treat you with kindness and in a welcoming attitude, which I definitely try to do, and I would never. Someone's going to submit a pull request in a weird way that's kind of not the right way that I want for the project, I would kind of give them friendly feedback and help facilitate them resubmitting the pull request. So, okay, so I've got to go, but let's see if there's anything. Scores and proper spacing. So here's the thing, I don't know that I need the scores for what I'm going to do. I definitely want the image pipe, and I definitely want proper spacing. Again, I think it would be helpful to have each of these things in separate pull requests. So, and also now I can look at the conflicts here. Yeah, there's just some conflicts from the background stuff from the other one, and I probably could figure this out, but I don't have time right now. So Dagut, if you want to resolve those conflicts, I can take a look at merging this. Fix typo. What's the typo? Oh, the YouTube video is wrong. Thank you. This is one I feel like I can merge without kind of worrying about. I can see right here, look, it's just in a code comment. It's just fixing that. So I want to fix that. What's this? Added this.size to bird.js and improved the code for keeping the bird in the screen. So let's take a look at this. Height minus this is great. This makes sense. Yep. This looks good. I think I can, again, I should probably do some more testing or have unit tests or check out the code. One thing you can actually do that's helpful is in the description here, if you have this forked into your master, you can enable GitHub Pages and then put a URL to your version running, and I can just click on that and test the code that way. That's kind of a nice thing to do. I'm going to just merge this while we're here. So I only have really this one outstanding pull request, which has some conflicts. And let's look at the changes here just to see what's kind of going on. Okay, this shouldn't mark. This is a good change to fix the spacing. I don't know about this greater than equals versus greater than. I don't want an extra space here. Oh, I love having a pipe image. That's great. Figuring out how to make this better is great. Looks like some of the indentation is a little bit different here. I'm not sure what pass is. Pipe body sprite, that's awesome to have. Thank you for this. Oh, and also changing that. So let's, Dagood, if you want to resubmit, fix some of the stuff, I'm sorry that this is so convoluted. I'm kind of learning how to do this as well. And so what I'm going to do is let's just, do I have everything now? Whoops. Oh, git pull GitHub master. I'm kind of rushing now. I am going to, I just want to do some stuff into the code myself. Actually, I kind of have to go. So here's some pull requests I would accept. I would accept I feel like, for one thing, is this running slow or is it just my computer? So anything anybody can do to like figure out if this should run a little faster. Ultimately, I'm probably not going to use this image because I'm going to run like, so the pipes need to be redesigned. Unicorn horns was a nice idea, but also the pipes from Dagoot is perfect, I think. This I don't know why, I guess I made it like this to appear like a sort of like phone, but just looking at this on the desktop, I think this should have a aspect ratio that's wider than it is tall, probably. The pipes look very skinny. I don't know if the collision detection doesn't seem to really be working. So any improvements that people want to make, and I don't know how busy, I do need scores to tell the neural network how well it's doing. That's actually true. So that'll be the fitness function. So actually having a score in there is something I do need. That's correct. So actually I do want that. Dagood is in the chat. I'm fixing those things for the third time during the stream. I'm so annoyed. So I really have to apologize. This is my fault. It's on me that all this stuff is getting kind of convoluted. So I really apologize, and I really do appreciate your contribution. This now actually has no conflicts. So I think I will go ahead and merge it, and I can always, let me just quickly look here. Everything, so there might be some style stuff or some other little things to fix, but there are no major conflicts, and I do have this nice game over function showing the score stuff. This is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this. Is it broken? I have to go to MeIamSB. I don't know if you have a few minutes free. But if you have a couple minutes to review this, MeIamSB is a contributor to the website and has done work kind of maintaining and managing some of the code in the past. I really appreciate their help. If you have a chance to look at this, otherwise what I'm going to do is while I'm in some of these presentations and meetings, I will take a look at that pull request. It's great that it has no conflicts. And Dagoot writes, I'm chill. So thank you for that. But I really do, I really do appreciate, and I know that it can be frustrating when collaborating on an open source project to have lots of people contributing at the same time and have it not be clear what to do and that sort of thing. So, wonderful. Okay, I'm going to go. And hopefully we're going to have this whipped into shape by, should be back, I'm hoping 3 hours from now. If things go well, I'll be back actually earlier than that. The absolute earliest I'll be back, I think, is about 2:30 Eastern time, which is 2.5 hours from now. But so just stay tuned. I'll add a time to the YouTube live page. And I will see you all in a few hours if you choose to come back. Okay, great. Thank you. MeIamSB has posted in the YouTube chat as well. Now, I'm hoping that this chat is retained. YouTube has a new feature where the live chat now can be played back in the archive. And for some reason, it didn't work with last Friday's. And I sent a note to YouTube support, and I have enabled it in my account. But we'll see if it. Let me know if that's working or not working later today when the live stream is published. Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I will be back for part 2 of today's live stream. Thank you.